What is this? I never seen a real gun before.
Maya, stop right there. Guns are not toys. You need to be very careful. Let me help you. Whenever you see a gun, don't touch it. Always alert a responsible adult immediately. Now let's find out where this gun came from.
I'll take that gun for evidence. We need to figure out who it belongs to and how it ended up here.
However, let's use this opportunity to cover 6 points about firearm safety.
Number 1, lock it up. Always store your gun in a secure and locked location. Number 2, know your target. Be aware of what you're aiming at and what is beyond it.
Keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. Educate yourself. Take a gun safety course and familiarize yourself with your firearm.
Point number 5, always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. Just because the magazine's not in it doesn't mean there's not a bullet in the chamber. The 6th and final point, never, I mean never point your gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. The Eagle of Justice.
It's important to remember that improper handling or misuse of a firearm can lead to accidental discharge, potentially resulting in a much larger and more dangerous situation.
Kraken and I can help track down the owner of the gun. Let's get to the bottom of this.
It is illegal to abandon a gun in a public place. We must find the responsible party.
Oh no, Be Safe and that kid found the gun I was trying to hide.
Ooh, you fool! We need to find a way to steal it back before we get in trouble.
There they are. Kraken found Rob You Blind and Treacherous Tony.
Ooh.
Oh man, Be Safe.
We did it!
Great job, Maya. You helped prevent a dangerous situation. Remember, gun safety is everyone's responsibility. Well, there you have it. Another successful mission in promoting gun safety. Remember, kids, if you ever find a gun, don't touch it. Tell a responsible adult immediately.
Thank you for teaching me, Sergeant Be Safe.
And that's a wrap to our caper. Rob You Blind and Treacherous Tony, you're back to jail again. Remember, gun safety, kids, and that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
I don't even know what to say. But he did this on purpose. Oh! Just mowed into the cop. And he got out talking. Okay.
Awfully quiet tonight.
No, you didn't. You just did not do that.
Welcome to Black and Blue, the podcast that brings you the untold stories behind the badge. Every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we dive deep into the lives of our unsung heroes, the first responders and law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line to protect us all. So join us as we humanize the badge. We shed light on the incredible individuals who wear it proudly. From rookies just starting out on their journey to seasoned vets with years of experience, even retirees who continue to make a difference in their communities. Come with us and discover the trainings that mold us. The unforgettable experiences that make us. And the publications that inspire us to push forward. So buckle up and get ready to embark on a thrilling journey through the lives of those who protect and serve. This is the Heartbeat, Black and Blue. Black and Blue, where the stories behind the badge are true. Good evening, my Black and Blue crew. Thank you guys for tuning in again for your another weekly episode of Black and Blue, where we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when we go live with the famous, our famous first responder or law enforcement officer, whether they're rookie, season, or retiree. And we talk about their trainings, experiences, and their publications. And we're going to talk about a publication today. So if you don't have your copy, make sure you get your copy, but we'll get into it. I'm your host. I'm Coach Clea. I'm Clark Tent. I'm the host of Black and Blue. I'm Ecclesiastics 302. Yes, you guys heard it. If you know what 302 is, then you know exactly what that is. I'm the coldest code switching detective. I'm Clee, C-L-E-E, continuing law enforcement edutainment. I'm your host of Black and Blue, and I'm proud to bring to you a special guest. We had him on here before, and we're going to bring him back here again today. His name's Jeff Daukas. We'll get into his intro momentarily. But this is the podcast where we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time weekly. We're on live on 5 different platforms. That's right, 5. We're on live on 2 on Facebook. We're live 2 on YouTube and 1 on LinkedIn. And when this is all over, this also gets uploaded in Spotify. And for those of you that were on here last week, I apologize. Something happened to the stream halfway through it. And on our end, we continued on the conversation, which was a great conversation, but it did not record, it did not save, so I'm not able to get that second half of the conversation on there. But we had a tremendous interview with the famous Matt Davis. And I actually met Matt Davis through Jeff Daukas right here. So this is a nice follow-up to that same interview that took place last week. But Black and Blue is sponsored by, you got to see Sergeant Be Safe. Sergeant Be Safe has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you tag, like, share, and subscribe to that. Go ahead and give me a couple likes so we can hit that algorithm. But Black and Blue is sponsored by One Way Publishing. One Way Publishing is a publishing company that you can see behind me. I wrote my 5 books and 2 digital books, and their clients got to make their dreams come true as well and get their books published. Their motto is they can turn a mere thought into a book that's bought. So if you're thinking about writing a fiction, nonfiction, a cookbook, a devotional, whatever it may have you, One Way Publishing is that publishing company that's just for you. If you're looking to come onto the show and be a guest, then there's a way to reach out. One Way Publishing also sponsors Sergeant Be Safe and the voiceovers for that. And guess what? Jeff Daukas is a voiceover for the Eagle of Justice, so fitting for it. But if you're looking to be a voiceover for the cartoon, that's how you will want to do that as well. All right. But getting all that out of the way, this is Black and Blue, where we humanize the badge. We humanize the badge through the cartoon Sergeant Be Safe. We humanize the badge by our guests and the topics that we discuss. And the topics change weekly. So make sure you guys check out. If you haven't checked out any other show, make sure you guys peruse them. You don't have to watch them from beginning to end unless you want to watch them on 2x speed. And I get it. We all have our other things to do in life, and we all have other things we need to follow up on. But this information is valuable. So I enjoy coming to you guys. I enjoy bringing these guests, and I hope you guys do as well. And to be cognizant of time, I know that we have our special guest. He may or may not have a little bit more extra time, a little bit, not so much. So we're going to jump right into it and get this interview started, because I know that's why you girls and guys are here, and I can't wait to have them. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen him on the show previous to this, make sure you check that other show out. But a lot of things haven't changed, and some things have, all right? He's got over 25 years of experience in the field of law enforcement. He's also a ranking supervisor in the field of law enforcement currently. He talks about courageous mobility if you check out his website, and he's gone on many different podcasts many times before. He's also provided the foreword to this book, Strands of Eternity by Dick Odom, a great friend of ours. And so I know, getting to the foreword, ladies and gentlemen, right there, got my copy. I got the hard copy. I know it's probably hard to see, but make sure you guys get your copy, all right? And One Way Publishing was able to do the cover art for this as well. So I'm happy to say that, and I'm happy to put this book out there. Dick Odom did a tremendous job with this book. It's a yearly devotional, and it helps get you through day by day, piece by piece, but we're not going to jump right into that as of yet. Also, to finalize the intro, Jeff Daukas is also known as the Eagle of Justice with him, his department, and the Sergeant Be Safe cartoon. So make sure this is a live interview, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Get your questions ready. I forgot to say, if you're looking for that that announcement, make sure you put your name and where you're from in the comment section. I'll give you that shout out that you're looking for. If you have a question, make sure you put that in the comment section as well, and we'll address that comment. But without further ado, I'm going to bring him to you. What happened? He was just right there. We're going to wait for him to come back. But we see we got a comment on the floor. Caw, absolutely. The Eagle of Justice is right there. I was just about to bring him to the stage. Come on back, Jeff. You don't have to be scared. We're going to have a lot of fun with this interview. We're going to talk about, for one, the foreword that he did for Dick Odom in the Strands of Eternity, this book. We're going to talk about not only the voiceovers that he does for the Sergeant Be Safe. If you got to see the commercial at the beginning of this, he was the Eagle of Justice in that commercial, and we got to have fun while he does this often. He's been in about four commercials now where he gets to be the Eagle of Justice. So he's the good voiceover. He's the voice of reasoning, and I think he's back on the stage. Good to go. Thumbs up on there. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we got Jeff Daukas here. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Man, I tell you what, this was going to be a heck of a good conversation, because literally as you're giving the intro, my computer gives the blue screen of death and says, problem shutting down. What? I don't even know what to say, but shout out to my man, Gregory Foster. So good morning, good evening, depending on where you're at in the side of the country or what shift you're working on. If you're like, hey, there's my buddy, there's my best friend, David Kennedy, Eagle of Justice. He knows. But if you're like Clee and you're working, I don't know, Clee does about 21 hours of work, 3 hours of sleep. And I don't know how you do it, man. You just go day shift, night shift, day shift, detective stuff. You should be a chief right now doing something. Chief Clee has a good podcast ring to it, my man.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be the name of the podcast, but not the title, because I like my sleep, and I like the current responsibilities I have right now. Thank you for putting that out in the universe.
Yes. So I'm glad to be here today. You have the book Strands of Eternity. We got a whole bunch of stuff we want to cover. I have time. I have energy after the kind of week I've had. I'm ready to go, man. This is kind of like my candy time, is talking to a buddy of mine about things that matter. And then I'm gonna even hit you up offline. I got an idea too about a book that I think is going to be amazing. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. But you had done the intro with One Way Publishing, and I'm telling you, didn't you use One Way Publishing to publish Strands of Eternity? Hint, hint.
Yes. I think that's me. Absolutely. Thanks for the plug. You see it right there down in the corner. But One Way Publishing, it did the cover art for Strands of Eternity. So therefore, One Way Publishing did the cover art, and we have the foreword done by Jeff Daukas, and then we have the devotional book by the man himself, Dick Odom. So I mean, it was a team effort, and I think I did the least work of the three, to be honest with you. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I say that not trying to be joking, but these guys put a lot of good work into this book, and it turned out to be a great outcome. So I mean that wholeheartedly.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and to be super clear, I had, what did I write, like 3 pages of a foreword just to highlight. Dick Odom did 365. He is the man. I contributed nothing. I say that tongue in cheek, because one of the poems is actually based on me. It's actually called Courageous Nobility.
Okay, you know what? I missed that one, and I saw the one Through the Eyes of an Eagle, I believe it is, or the Eagle.
Yep.
I actually like that one's Jeff right there.
Yeah, and so that one, and there's another one, day 300 actually, because I got all of them. So if you're going through it, you're probably on your like 50th day right now, because it's been out for about 50 days.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get to 300, it's called Officer's Path, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but and I'm going to tell you about something. I'm going to read the courageous nobility one to you because it's pretty cool. It says, courage of might stand proud and true. Courage of mind battle through. I'm reading over here. Courage of heart remain brave and true. Courage of our Lord always stand through. Courage of Christ to thy heart flee. I stand before thee with courageous nobility.
Okay.
And so he sent it to me and he said, inspired by Jeff Daukas. And so I just think it's super cool because these things that birthed out of Dick's life, and this is what it's about. So if you haven't had a chance to read any of his other books, The 99% Outlaw, if you haven't read The Oathbreaker, there's a new book coming out that he's excited about, and maybe even another one that he and I get to collaborate on if I'm lucky. But if you haven't seen his life, he is writing these series of poems as a way to process through different phases of his life. And it's very intentional. So he's not just writing happenstance devotionals. As you know, talking with him, you're going to see all kinds of things in his life played out in these different poems. And what's super cool for me as a Christian is that he ends up popping a solid Bible reference at the end, so that if you want to check the scripture and kind of see how it connects, then that's how it does there. So application, truth, it's what we're about, baby. That's what we're about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you jumped right into it because, I mean, you guys know I send out a list of questions and sometimes we stick to them. Other times we don't like to keep the conversation going. But we knew we were going to be talking about the strands of justice and the effects that it has on us or others, or the possible effects that it could have on someone who's looking for some sort of devotional. But I say all that to say, how did you get to come to meet Dick, and how did he ask you to do the foreword for his book, to actually have the honor and the pleasure of doing that?
Yeah, so I was at a conference last year. Yeah, SETI P, good evening, Coach. I was at a conference, and a retired Sheriff Andy R. Hughes, I don't know if you know that name, if you had a chance to talk with Andy, he is another man that you definitely need to chop it up with. He's an amazing individual. I'm a good friend of his now because I interacted with him at the conference and we kept up over the year.
Okay.
So he tells me, hey, he says, you got to reach out to this guy, Dick Odom, because you guys would talk forever the way things go. And so I'm on patrol one day. I was just writing radar tickets to try to get my guys to do something. And next thing you know, I'm like, I'm just going to call this guy. So I call him and we ended up talking on the phone for an hour until I told him, I said, Dick, I have to go. Like, I'm actually on patrol right now. Eagles got to fly, baby. So we started laughing and we promised to stay in touch, and we did. And intermittently, we've had these conversations that have let me learn about him. He's learned about me. And what's nice is that, and you know how this goes, right? When you speak the same language of law enforcement, because it is different, he can say something. It's like you're opening videos. Like, I laughed when that girl got soaped by that cop. Like, that's funny. And the dude that says, hey, it's kind of quiet tonight, we all know, like, bro, you just literally lit up the triple shooting, right?
Yeah. Certain words, there's certain comments you do not say until the end of shift, and certain things you just know. Like, all the new guys that come on, I in roll call, they're like, oh man, I hope it's one of those quiet nights. I like, you just did it.
Yeah, and everybody just looks at him like
ever.
And it's funny too, because I know David Kennedy's on here. He's a former deputy, and he's probably laughing right now because it doesn't matter when you served; those things are real. But there is a language, right? And so when Dick and I start talking, and I'm listening, and I've never met him in person, but I feel like I know him intimately because of the conversations we've had. We've had hour-long conversations, many of them talking about life. And when you actually peel back the layers of all this, you see the expression of his heart in his books. He processes all through this stuff through the books. And actually, he sends me a message one day. He says, hey, you know what? I have all my poems. I have all this out here, but I'm kind of stuck on a name. And I just responded back. I said, how about Strands of Eternity, where the soul and the badge intersect?
I remember.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, because you were on that.
I saw the email go through. I'm like, yeah.
And then I was like, scoop of vanilla, scoop of chocolate. I gotta go, baby cakes. And so next thing you know, he's like, hey, it's published and this is it. And I thought, hey, what a cool way to help support somebody that's doing work that I agree with, right? So many times we get people that are going south in their career, and maybe somebody tells, like, there are a couple key things, couple key books. Like, I loved Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement by Kevin Gilmartin. You know, that's kind of, I think everybody should be reading that book regardless. I mean, if you've ever been in law enforcement, you need to pick up that book. But then, you know, I wonder what happens, because here's what I'm seeing. I brought my son with me, who's almost 17. He's an explorer. And I had one of these new officers that works graveyards that just came and talked to me. And I told him I'd help him with some career planning. So we met on Monday at Panera, which is my second office apparently. And I brought my kid with me because I wanted my son to meet a police officer. You know, again, I want him to be with me because that's how mentoring should be done. Like my son, I'm the coach Cleve for my son, right? And so my boys understand what it means to be men, and I want them to know how to interact with other adults. So anyway, so we start chopping it up, and he made some good statements. He's got 3 kids. He's been on the job on his own, I think, for 2 months. But I asked him, I said, so what is your plan when eventually things go dramatically wrong in your life? And he just kind of looked at me, and see, you're nodding your head up and down. And anybody listening that has more than, I don't know, 5 minutes on their own in a job can see a pathway where there's going to be not just rainbows and unicorns, but there's going to be bombs and bullets, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to get blowed up on some of these things. And how you respond and rebound off that, getting back off the X and back on the horse is important. And so what I like about Dick's current book, the devotional, is that if people are going to do what he says, is just read it. I mean, I would say you should read the foreword, because I was able, that's a good plug, I was able to put things in there that are relevant, and it affected me when I read all of it. And then I wrote my foreword after, because I wanted to digest really where Dick was taking us on this journey. But if you were to go through this, now it's not the be all end all, right? It's not going to get you a raise at work. It's not going to fix things, but I'll tell you what it is going to do. It's going to give you a path so that if you got things spinning up inside, that you can read this and go, hey, you know what? My man probably went through something like this. I can hear his heart. When I read it to I can see it. And then my encouragement is Dick's email is a 99% outlaw. It's just like, hit him up. He's on LinkedIn. You can hit him up, but you should talk to this guy. He has a crazy cool story. I mean, he's run $1 million companies. I mean, the guy is incredible. So if you have an opportunity, you can join the journey with him, and you can really see kind of like a crystallized view in 1 year when it took him 30 some years to live through.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's my encouragement to people, especially when you're spinning and you don't know where to go. First, I would say, especially nowadays, like I read yesterday, I don't know if you saw, but 2 cops ended up taking their own lives yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast where I'm at. And I just think to myself, if you're listening right now, or you put this out and you ever need someone to talk to, man, you can connect with me. I'll tell you what, you can connect with Clee. You reach out, courageousnobility@protonmail.com, or hit me up on LinkedIn, drop your phone number, and we'll connect. I don't get why we let all these things in culture take away what we are and who we are.
That's who we are, yeah.
We can't let that happen, Clee. We can't do that anymore. And I'm not willing to stand by and let it happen, which is why, you know, we're wrapping it back up to the book. This is just another springboard, hopefully, into conversation. That's really my goal. Relationships are built through those one-on-one times, like Dick and I have, like you and I have. And I mean, if we're doing our job correctly, mentoring people and helping them, then this should be something that we talk about.
Yeah, I know. And you mentioned, I think 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, I saw an article, as in a video online, up north, northern department. I don't want to say it. There might be a couple guys on here. It was an officer who was going through a mental crisis. He was off work.
Yes.
He tried to do suicide by cop and wounded 2 of his own guys from his department, where they were forced to take him out of this world because of it. And it's unfortunate because so many people are riddled with that. You got the officer himself, you got the wounded officer, you got that department, you got their families, you got the community, and it just dominoes and affects so much. And it's like, where's the point where this could have been preventable or salvageable or manageable to the point where, you know, we don't have to ruin the person or the lifestyle or the society, where we could get back to point X and do something positive and make that change, or let that person get the help they need, or whatever off their chest, whatever it may be. We all go through our own different struggles, and we may not recognize them all the time as well. So that it kind of makes you wonder, like, man, we're taking our own out. And we're the number one self-deleters of our own selves in this occupation. It's a shame.
Yeah, it is. And I will tell you, somebody who has become a close friend to my wife and I is Dr. Olivia Johnson. I don't know if you know that name.
She's been on the show.
Yeah. So Olivia is amazing. And so I sent that to her, and that is her passion, is figuring out how do we intervene, and help remediate people that feel like your IA investigation is something taken. Listen, I've been written up 30 times in my agency because guess what? You're gonna do dumb things. You're gonna do things that are not in policy, because we have a human-based profession. Your whole tagline, humanizing the badge. Guess what? I make mistakes. I am the number 2 ranked supervisor in my department, and I make mistakes every day. But in humility, with nobility and courage, I own them instead of the mistakes owning me. And then next thing, you know what happens? Yeah. You know what? My man Gregory talking about hiding their mental issues, because what happens if a department feels like you have some kind of mental issue, even if they say they're not going to do something different, they treat you different. We know they do.
Yeah, the stigma's there. Yeah.
It is, man. And the dudes that you go to briefing with are the ones that you are going to most rely upon. They're also the ones that know when you're in the most crisis.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to be okay with this. So, like, if nothing else, man, hear it from me. I may have been written up 30 times, but I also have been able to be in the lives of a lot of cool people. And I tell you what, when you can, if you think about legacy, that's kind of what we should be looking at all the time. Not because we want people to remember us, but for me personally, I want people to remember Jesus Christ. Like, that's who I stand for. And so my legacy needs to be how I impact and affect and influence other people. And if it's on the job, man, if it's about their faith, about their family, ultimately, this is just a job. 10, 15, 20, like you, man, you're going to be doing it for 50 years. Like, so you after your 50th year, you know, at some point you got to stop doing this, man, and just be Coach Clee. And then you chop it up with the rest of these guys here, but then your life goes on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, our life has to go on. And that's why I love I want to talk about Sergeant Be Safe, man. So, but I want to ask you a question. I know you interview everybody, and you're like, you're like the Johnny Carson.
Scary. He likes that. Everyone likes to put me on the spot, but it's cool. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Yeah, man. You're like the Johnny Carson. You always got ready. You're ready to flip on people. It doesn't even matter. You got a snake run on. It doesn't even matter. But I want to know, when you created that cartoon, the first one you created, why did you create this way to interact with people? Why did you do it?
Wow, that's a good question. And you may not believe the answer. It was because I refused to accept no as an answer, per se. So when I decided to switch over, this podcast was actually called The Lab, where I was interviewing individuals anywhere, whether they're business product or positive message. And then I kind of honed in, of course, changed it to black and blue, changed the narrative of the show, changed it the people, where I was bringing in first responders and law enforcement officers and talking about whether they're rookie season or retirees, and talking about their trainings, experiences, and publications. And to do that, you know, you gotta have commercial breaks. You gotta have messages that hit home to people and deliver different ways. So I was reaching out to McGruff and Smokey the Bear, you know, the big dogs. And then I saw some other videos on YouTube as well that were not as known, that were just having 30-second, minute and a half brief safety briefings. And I'd reach out to them like, hey, I would love to use this clip for my podcast. Would you mind? And I heard back from no one. None, not a one. Let's just say I put out as a rough number, 50 emails on different kind of safety videos. And I was just going to promote their stuff. I had no intent on making my own.
That's crazy.
So I was like, well, no one's getting back to me, but I still have this burning desire to do it. Let me find this app and I'll create my own. And I created my own. It was just going to be Sergeant Be Safe. And he was going to have a safety message, and that was it. And then it turned into a skit. Then it turned into, hey, I want to be on. Hey, make a character for me. And then it grew. It's still growing because now I'm getting voiceover. Hey, you didn't ask me if I could do a voiceover where I'm going. So now I got people they want to be a character. I got to come up with a line. It takes a lot of work, trust me, just to do one cartoon. If I actually did it from beginning to end, which I do it in breaks, it'll probably take 2.5 hours to do. But it's a lot of fun. I get to interact with people. I get to interact with individuals such as yourself and bring a positive message forward. So that's really how Sergeant Be Safe got started, and it's grown legs. And he has his own podcast channel now. I'm sorry, his own YouTube channel now, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, that's amazing. And when I hear your heart about you want to do something to help people, to make them safe and to be positive. And then the things that are the most positive, those old boys aren't even getting back to you. It can be a kick in the face. You go, well, what are you going to be about then? Because I'll tell you what I see when people are not willing to come back to you. They're about money, and you're about people, and I'm about people. Which is after me and you chopped it up last time, and I got to sell you on why the Eagle of Justice is the wisdom of the group. Even with just watching the eagle fly from I just fly off there. After dropping like this mad weight, like massive knowledge, it's funny because again, you got Travis Yates, you got Chad Bruckner. These are solid guys. The guys that you're using all have the same connection, which is why I wanted you to tell it on the podcast. Like, this is exactly why you did that. So when we did the one that you just showed about gun safety, oh man, here's the thing. 2.5 hours, but I guarantee you would do 2.5 hours of that every single day if you knew that one kid was going to be safe. It's worth all of it. For me, for you, all of it, man. It doesn't matter. And so you have to keep strong with that. You have to keep looking for people to inject positive atmospheres and positive energies and good stories with safety lessons and essentially just connecting. We just need to connect with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
reminds me of a story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I got some stories, man.
I know. I'm going to ask you to pause for the cause just because we came up on that caveat where we got to get a Sergeant Be Safe, ironically, cartoon out there. We're going to pause and we're going to come right back and we're going to hear more stories and learn more of the connection purposes. We got the Eagle of Justice right here, Jeff Daukas, and you might actually see or hear his voice in this upcoming cartoon. Stand by. What? Not that one. Yeah, see, this is what happened.
School is back in session. As we enter Mrs. Gaynor's classroom, Maya discovers a social media rumor about her has gone viral.
Why are they saying such mean things about me online?
Maya, what's wrong? Is everything okay?
I'm being cyberbullied, Mrs. Gaynor.
Oh no, it looks like your phone has been hacked into and it's going viral.
This is embarrassing. I just want to go home.
Hold on 1 second, Maya. I'm calling Major Payne.
Hello, Mrs. Gaynor. How are you doing? What? Hacked! Sergeant Be Safe, get to the school and figure this out.
10-4, Major. Cyberbullying won't happen on my watch. We need to track the culprit down. Come on, Captain Chaos.
Let's go.
Sergeant Be Safe is here.
Hello, officers.
Hello. Let me see your phone, Maya. Oh, this is no good, Captain Chaos. There's only one social media mastermind that I can think of that's behind this.
That's right. It has to be Chance Wilder. But how do we catch him?
Sergeant Be Safe, get the phone, bring it back, put it in evidence, then we'll put it on the Bright Cell machine and get digital evidence.
With this new app everyone is signing up for, I'll be able to make them do destructive challenges. And once they're in trouble, they'll be under my control.
Sergeant Be Safe and his team use the Bright Cell machine and discover it has Chance Wilder's digital fingerprints all over it.
I'm set up, ready to breach the door. Get ready. 3, 2.
Okay, class, it's time for lunch. Maya, hold your head up. Things will be okay.
This is the worst day of my life.
Don't sit at this table, Maya. Those things I saw in the app, it must be true.
Yeah, and to think, we thought you were nice and respectful.
Why did the math book look so sad?
because it had too many problems, like you. Go away.
To be continued.
And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way. And we're back. I was so excited to get you on here, Jeff. I forgot to put your banner up in your website, but it is scrolling below. And I did make another mistake. I forgot you're not in part 1. You're actually in part 2 of that episode. So I made another mistake there. But it's all in the course of having fun. But we're jumping right back into this interview, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Eagle of Justice, Jeff Daukas, right here. There we go. You better watch out, ladies and gentlemen, boys. And he just said he wanted to discuss a story about connection. And I cut him off to get this commercial in. So I'm bringing it right back to him now. Jeff, what did you want to share with us on your story?
Well, I tell you, it's first of all, watching the first part of that again, it hurts my heart because that's a real thing. I'm not going to lose focus on my story that I want to tell you, but man, so many kids now. I got 12-year-olds that have cell phones that have complete unrestricted access to the internet.
Yep.
And they are developing their personality and who they want to be, who they want to be seen as. And then people are they're just cowards. I mean, Travis Yates with Courageous Leadership, he talks about cowards in leadership all the time. And how if you're not willing to stand up and take the right path, then you are just a coward. You have no integrity, which is why Courageous Nobility is just an integrity-based model that we want to highlight. But that's what it takes. So if you're watching this and maybe you watch the Sergeant Be Safe, you got to remember that that's not real life. Like who cares how many thumbs down or whatever. But when somebody hacks something like this, get the police involved right away because, when SWAT blows the door down, obviously the whole thing burns. I saw the door. I'm like, my man just used a little bit too much deck cord on that. End up looking like a Monsters Inc. door, but that's okay.
We got to ask Chad what he was doing as his character.
He's crazy. He's crazy, but so like that's a real thing. And so if you guys have any issues at all, definitely find the police. I supervised a unit where we actually worked computer crimes, and it was crazy the amount of stuff that's out there.
Yes.
You can't give it all away because we don't want the bad guys to be poaching, and we definitely want to be knocking on the door with the SWAT team. But let me flip the script a little bit and tell you about a story that happened last week.
Sure.
So there I was, Eagle of Justice, minding my own business. I was going to go have my cup of coffee at QT. They're so nice to us there. They have like a cold brew machine now. It's just it's a thing right there. We just love all those things. So I'm all ready to go. I got my travel Vital Proteins collagen that goes in my coffee now because I'm going to be like Coach Klee and get like all muscle and everything, all big. So I'm ready to go. So I go in, I get my coffee, and this guy walks by me. And so about that time of the morning, it's about 6:30ish, depending when I get out of the station. So I get a lot of guys, a lot of contractors starting at QT to get their cooler filled up, get all their gas and their equipment. And this guy walks by, and he's got to be, I'm not kidding, size 54 chest. He's 5'6". He's got a dog tag around his neck, and it's almost like a choke collar, and the tag sticking out the side here. And I just watch him walk by, and he's like, "Hey, good morning, sir." And it's just common courtesy, but yet you don't get that as a police officer. A lot of times in the morning, people will avoid my gaze. They won't say hi. And I just said, "Hey, good morning. How are you?" And then I asked him, I said, "Are you a Marine by chance?" He's like, "Semper Fi." I go, "Yeah, okay, there you go." And so we start walking out, and I asked him a question because again, right here I am with my coffee. It's this old boy's getting his coffee. His crew, I didn't realize it. I'll tell you later on, but he's a supervisor, and actually he's a main guy in this company.
Okay.
And I just asked him. I said, "Hey, what's the best way that cops can help you in your life this week? What do you think we can be doing to help you?" And he stopped, and we're like right outside the QT by where the homeless dude has already picked up a sign and walked away because he knows he's going to get that from me later. So now we took that seat, and we chopped it up for 15 minutes. Me and this guy that I just met, he was so positive and so gracious. And ultimately what he said is, he goes, if we had more cops that would just stop and talk with people, he
Wow.
said, everybody is looking for ways to support good versus evil, justice versus injustice. People just need to see cops as human and not doing, he said, I know you guys got lots of calls. And I told him, I go, I'm a supervisor, man. Only call I'm going to is a call for lunch, second lunch. What did Frodo say? What, first breakfast, whatever.
Yeah.
But so we were just laughing. He says, my company, he's the rep of this company, we want to donate a bunch of Thanksgiving dinners. Do you happen to know people in need? Like, do we know people in need? To get my Kamala Harris eyes there, but of course we know people in need. We run into them all the time. So I gave him my business card. I asked him to look at another thing, and I want to talk about something else after. But this connection took place, and I followed up with him. And so now we're looking to. He wants to donate 5 Thanksgiving meals to families, and then he wants to be part of a Christmas toy drive. Just him and his company.
Just basically, what spawned from a conversation.
Yeah, you know what that took, Clee? It took me recognizing that, man, there are human beings all around us. And I've been saying this for years. And my best friend David Kennedy, there he is. I knew he would jump in because
he's got another comment on the floor. I didn't put it up there yet. It's based on the last conversation with with technology. I put it up there now as well. Satan
yeah.
Destroy these poor kids. Thank you for addressing that urgent matter. Yeah, I didn't want to disrupt your OODA loop.
Yeah, no, we're totally good. David does it all the time. We do this with each other. But I always tell people that the next face in front of you has to be the most important face in front of you. There's something about a genuine track of attention when you give somebody your time and your heart. Yeah. They actually give it back to you. And it's almost like the whole world is like my virtual background. It's just all blurred out. And you're just dialed in on somebody. And when they see that you're willing to be real, man, there you go.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Dude, you're Coach Clee, man. I'm just picking up from you, man. I don't got a red and blue light. I got the red and blue flag. And then, here we are. But
yeah. See,
pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And that interaction, it says a lot about the character of the individual that you met and your character too. And to actually sit down and have the conversation, it was meant to be that you guys met and were able, not only during that conversation, come up with an idea and a plan to actually help out other individuals other than yourselves or the department or anything, just people in general. And that's what we're here to do as a first responder and in law enforcement, is to be of service.
Yeah. And you know what, man, we can talk for 2, 3, 4, 5 days straight, but ultimately what it comes down to is we have so much. I mean, look around your life personally. You mean you have had conversations offline and your life isn't perfect. My life's not perfect, but you know what? I throw away more food than some of these guys are eating during a week.
Yeah.
And just the perspective of that, the perspective that we have something to give. We do. We have something to give. And it's, if nothing else, you may not have $1 to your name. You may not have anything you think worth having, but you have your time. I'm thinking about a story in the Bible when Peter and John walk by this guy and he's asking for money, and he looks at me and goes, I don't have gold and silver, but what I have, I am going to give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ, stand up and walk. He just gave him his time, and he gave him the most true thing in his own heart. He just said, this is what I'm about. I'm just going to give it to you. And so I think that's real. Connections, whether it's my son, whether it's your guests, whether it's that rookie officer I talked to, or my lieutenant who just is just an amazing man helping people out. It's all about connection and giving time and making people feel validated. Yeah. That's
deal.
Real.
Yeah.
Sergeant Be Safe has got that one pegged up, ready to go.
Hey, man, that's front line genuine, straight from the heart, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's the epitome of humanizing the badge right there.
Right.
It doesn't get any better than that.
And you know what? I didn't get any extra money for that. I didn't get any extra coffee for that. Truth be told, now I have a burden in my heart for this man and his company and his family. So I added more work in my day, just be praying about and think about this guy. But it's 100% worth it, because I know that if we had 168 hours, which we do every week, to do with what we're gonna do, man, if you're gonna get on here and one of the comments is gonna be in, oh yeah, my Madden 25 team is just going to crush you. If that's like your week, you are missing out. Then you need to read Strands of Eternity, because there is an eternity and we are stranding through it. Come on, man. You gotta do that.
I like that connection right there.
Dude, you know me, man. I'm that chain link fence just holding people together.
The Eagle of Justice right there. I know one thing that we did talk about on this podcast, you said is 168 hours every single week. I remember, I forget how many seconds or how many minutes there were in a day, but we did a discussion on it. And it was like, if you got a check that renewed every single day, how would you spend that money? The first couple of days, it'd probably be frivolous and you have a lot of fun. Then at the end of the day, you don't get to save the money. You don't get to keep it. It runs out. Then you wake up the next day and you get that same amount of money. And then after a while, you start spending on things that mean something, because you're not going to get that money back. So therefore, you do something that's going to benefit others, that's going to create memories, something that lasts, because that money's going to run out by the end of the day. Then you get a brand new check. That's the same thing with time. That's the same thing, same exact thing. The way that you use your time, you could either waste it and it's gone forever, or you could use it to benefit yourself, other people, society, and it lives on forever, because it's not a waste. It's actually doing something to project the movement forward, moving the needle forward and whatever that is, in your opinion, something good, something positive, something of service. That's how we move that needle forward.
Yeah, I love it, because you start looking at things that people are spending time on. Now, keep in mind, I got a pretty good Madden team, so I'm not saying that I don't know how to get it on, but you have to be able to look at the things that matter most. So I want to share with you something exciting that we didn't even talk about, but that has come up the past, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago. This became a pretty real thing. Do you know who Jeremy Wade is?
Jeremy Wade, not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
So Jeremy Wade is the executive director of Mission First Alliance.
Okay.
So his whole point is to provide real hope.
Before you get started, I'm sorry. That's thumbs down is on the service itself. I'm not giving it thumbs down. It's all on mannerisms. Therefore, I just want that to be clear. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't do it. I look around like
I know.
But if we were to get some more Sergeant Be Safe clips, what's going on?
Do this. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's my man right there. Anyway, so Jeremy was a Seattle police officer, and he was trying to find ways to give hope to people. And they were just, during the time Seattle hit, he left, I think, in 2020-ish, when all that stuff was going down, when the dumpster fire of our year took place, right?
Yeah.
So he and his wife, they moved out to by Chattanooga, and he started this organization. It's an alliance to bring first responders together. Boom, baby. See, there you go. David likes that. But you start looking at 4.6 million first responders, police, fire, first line medical. And all of a sudden, the stuff that we talk about, dude, it just got real. I mean, yeah, let's say there were 700,000 law enforcement officers, but you start talking about 4.6 million first responders. And if none of them had any hope, we're giving people the right to come into our lives, to take a life or to save a life. And these are people, at the end of the day, they've already cashed out their time check. And now they're just kind of floating, going, maybe I'll just drink, or, maybe I'll just do bad things on my phone, or maybe, I don't know, because they don't know what's going on. And so Jeremy's been passionate about this, and I reached out to him, and we had some great interactions. And so I'm one of the 5 regional reps right now for the Southwest. I represent the Southwest, but missionfirstalliance.com is a big thing for me. David, I just talked to David. It's literally free to sign up. You go to the website and just sign up to be a part of it, so that people can start uniting to provide hope, to pray, you can just support in some way. You may not even be a person of faith, but it doesn't mean that you don't have law enforcement or fire, or you don't know someone in first line medical. Like, we talk to a lot of ER nurses. I mean, you think your day's bad? We go from call to call, but at some point, man, maybe we go to QT, right?
Yeah.
ER, it's like the next critical incident, critical incident. It's all day.
Yeah.
It's all day. So the hope is that there's already people in Canada that are signed up. There's people in Australia that are signed up. I had a chance to co-lead and speak at the National Convention in Chattanooga last month. Unbelievable. outpouring of people who honestly, it's kind of like you rub shoulders with the big dogs, man. So I'm not telling you anything new, but
this is the big dog right here telling me I haven't made it to his level yet, so don't believe it.
Dude, you're speaking to billions, man. You don't even know it, but I'm in this room and I told my wife, I got to bring my wife with me, and I'm looking at the name tags before the event started, and I'm fanboying like half these people on LinkedIn. I'm telling my wife, I go, do you know who Olivia Johnson is? You know, I'm like, that's Burke Swearingen, you know, for all these guys, and they're different things, and they're just real people. And we got down with just being real. And I tell you what, man, when we bring real hope, and for that alliance, man, it's through the gospel, real hope. People are changing. People are doing things. People are, like Olivia, reignited. People want to change. They want to do something different. And guess what? It doesn't cost you $100, Kamala. Don't worry about your tax break. So I want people to sign up for that stuff, man. I really want people to look into that and connect with me or Jeremy or whatever, and we can just direct you more appropriately.
Up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there you go. That's something else extra for you. You didn't even know we had.
Yeah, there we go. Seriously, man. When do you get a chance to rest? When do you get a chance to actually the kick back and play Madden, if that's your thing, your favorite pastime, or whatever your favorite, because you're involved in so much, supervising, being a mentor, working in your faith, and writing forewords and books, doing voiceovers, helping people nonstop. You're a very busy man. I don't get. I know where we live the life of service, but you got to have that time to recoup as well.
Yeah, it's true. I love David putting that out there.
EMS doesn't have firearms. Yeah, I know. We had that discussion in roll call a couple years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
I want to be nice all the time, different level of anxiety, and to be nice to people that have a hard time trying to connect with them. Absolutely.
I don't know.
That, David.
Yeah, David, that's a good call. And David knows he's worked in all kinds of industries. He's worked dude was a county coroner. He was a cop. He's biomed. I mean, the dude there's a reason he's my best friend. So to answer your question, my wife and I have purpose to be extremely disciplined with time. Like you nailed it with, if you're going to spend a time check, what's that look like? And so we constantly are talking about how do you regain 10-minute blocks of time in your day, because we waste time all the time and then complain that nothing gets done.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. So technology, I am not the best user of technology. I don't know the Snap Tweet, the meth books, I don't know what it is. Insta sweet grams, whatever they are, whatever these things are. You know more. See, look, you can't even stop. You're like, you're killing me. It's like my kids say, Dad, just stop talking right now. But I will tell you that one thing we do find very effective is we use our calendar on our iPhones. We have our shared calendar for the family. And when something comes up, we populate the right in the family time. So I know what's available, what time's available, and what time's not. And I'll be real honest with you. When I'm done working, so I work 5 to 3. Man, good luck finding me at 3:01.
Yeah.
Stuff, man. Hey, you know what? I'll give you 110%. And at 3 o'clock, it's my time now.
Yeah.
Because the contract I have is not to give my heart and soul and my body. And these guys, like the guys that want to go suicide by cop, or these people drinking themselves, they're going out after work, talking about work, about the same things that they were ticked off from to begin with. That's insane.
Yeah.
And so I go home, man. I go home, or I go hang out with people, or I do whatever I'm doing. But I have these times, right? I have the 1-2 hours where I'm just going to use them, and I'm not going to sit down and do nothing. Like after we're done with this, maybe I'll go play Madden, but I'm not going to play it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right. It's about discipline and knowing that there are priorities in life. We tell our kids all the time, do all the hard stuff first. Front load your week, front load your day, so that at the end of your week or the end of your day, you're sitting pretty. Like me, my son and I did 4 tons of rock past 2 days. And then 2 days before that, I redid my whole garage. So don't tell me you don't have time to do it. I took the week off work, but I tell you what, I got to go to work to slow down, man. I'm going to be done with that stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say that is the answer, because I don't look at my life as being very busy anymore. because I've learned the greatest sentence that anybody who wants to be successful in business or in life. So if you're listening, pay attention. This is the eagle wisdom here. You ready?
I'm ready.
This is it right here. The number one sentence you can say is no. No is a complete sentence, people. And you got to be okay with that. So when somebody shoots me a text message, I also serve as an elder in my church. They say, "Do you have time to talk?" I respond, "No." And I don't feel guilty. And it's not a mental thing for me. Like I've dropped the ball somewhere. No, I don't have time, but I have time during these times tomorrow or whenever. Okay, great. When you start learning how to prioritize your family, we are so good at giving everything we have, time, talent, treasure, all our money away, all our time away, all the things that we do, the public speaking, your publishing company, you give all that away to people at cost, but certainly it's your time. And then later on, the people that you say you care about get the scraps. That's not acceptable. I don't accept that. And so I had a purpose to make a change because you know what? The legacy of my kids walking out the door at some point, they're doing their thing. And if they're going to reach back and pick up the phone and call the old eagle, I want it to be because we set the right foundation and spent time with them. And I can do all these different things too, but you know what? Right now, this is the season for this. Maybe season for something else when I retire in 100 years. I don't know. But I guess that's a good answer to your question, is recognizing that there are limits to what you can and can't do, and saying no to people is okay. Showing them you're human. Now, I need time to recharge. I need to see my family. I need to play Madden because this boy's talking trash, something like that.
And it's biblical humility to say no, to accept your priorities. We want to serve everyone, but we have to focus on the people we can affect change upon. Absolutely.
That's big. Yeah, that's big.
You can't drive the car to Florida all the way from New York if you don't refill the tank itself. You do have to refill that tank so you are able to help other people out.
Truth.
Yep.
Truth.
But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump to part 2 of that commercial with Starting to Be Safe that we just saw part 1 of. The Eagle of Justice is in this one, so stay tuned. And let me know what you think about it. Let me get a call, Jeff.
Caw!
Where we left off. Maya arrived at school. She was happy as can be. And then she found out something bad happened. Her phone was hacked. There were videos of her. Maya was embarrassed. Kids at school were making fun of her, forcing her to leave. It was discovered that Chance Wilder was behind this. The police tried to arrest him, but he got away. Which brings us to our next episode.
I'm set up, ready to breach the door. Get ready. 3, 2.
And we now start part 2.
I'm out of here. These cops can't catch me. That was a close one. Treacherous Tony, I see you over there. Come pick me up. Get us out of here. Get in. Go, go, go. I don't know how they found me.
Oh no. SWAT Officer Claymore. Looks like Chance Wilder is on the move again.
He just told Claymore that they got away in that direction.
Meanwhile, outside of the school.
Why does everything always go wrong for me?
Wrong for you? I don't think you're on the run from Sergeant Be Safe.
Little girl, why don't you come with us? Chance Wilder, we can easily hide in the company of the juvenile.
Maya's missing. We need to find her before it's too late. Sergeant Be Safe, Captain Chaos, you know what to do.
Oh no, this isn't good. Do any of you kids know what happened to Maya?
Sergeant, be safe. We might have accidentally upset her and sent her off crying.
Well, let's work together to ensure Maya's safety. One bad event can lead down the rabbit hole of terrible outcomes, okay?
Remember, being nice to others is important. It can prevent a lot of trouble, and it keeps everyone safe.
Kraken and I will get started on finding a scent right away. Come on, boy.
We won't rest until we find Maya and bring her back safely.
Meanwhile, back at the Internal Affairs office.
Please come in, Claymore, and have a seat. I have a couple of questions for you about breaching the door, your perimeter, and how Chance Wilder got away.
Oh, that's great. Well, I promise I did the best I could.
Should SWAT officer Claymore get in trouble, or did he do the right thing?
Sergeant Be Safe, the track stops here, unfortunately. Kraken is picking up other scents that are similar to Chance Wilder and Treacherous Tony.
Oh, no.
You don't think they took her, do you?
We won't let Chance Wilder and Treacherous Tony get away with this. We must bring them to justice.
The bad guys got away. Maya is still missing. And Officer Claymore is in trouble.
Oh
Stay
my
tuned
God.
for part 3 as the saga continues.
And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, part 2 of that saga, that crazy saga. You know, the cartoon actually started off from going to safety tips to everyone challenging my hand in a fun way to see if I could get stories out there that send messages, that have a storyline here, a plot twist there. So I'm working on a 4-part series. It's taking me a lot longer than I thought it would, trust me, but it's a lot of fun to do. And the voiceovers, anyone who's providing a voiceover, and I'm not just saying that because Jeff's on here, I truly appreciate all of you to come in here. But did you guys get to see Jeff's part?
Yeah. You know, you keep doing these multi-saga event things, and it reminds me of, because you and me about the same age, and so I remember getting ready for school in the morning, and there was G.I. Joe at 7 a.m.
Yep.
And there was always, you know, the more you know, right? And so, and so you're the new G.I. Joe. I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, Chad, you don't want the cop answer for the door thing. I'll just we'll save it for you. How you unfold that in episode 3, okay?
Yeah, we'll see how that happens. Maybe we'll see. You know, I mean, mistakes happen. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's cool.
We got another. I do amazing voices. Just saying. See, this is how it grows. This is how
he actually does. He actually does. It's crazy. And so I'll have to get you guys connected offline just to talk, because he is an amazing guy. And we talk to him. He's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he knows how to keep a conversation going. And he does great voice impressions.
All
right, he's a heck of a good singer too. So who knew?
Wow. See, and Jeff calls me the top dog, but Jeff is the one who keeps plugging people my direction, and he knows everyone. We know where the truth is, and I'm okay with it. I enjoy talking with him, and he's doing tremendous things. But we know who the top dog is, and it's the
sir.
Love this, but build your catalog of voices.
Dude, you're gonna be selling like your whole set, like people sell their book and stuff, man. It's just you sell your voices and people. You know what's really cool about this too is that everybody that you think I know that, there you go. Yeah, you're right. Think about everybody that you've connected with. By doing the podcast, or by your publishing company, or by you just having like coaching people through life. All these people are going to tell at least 5 other people about your experience or their experience with you. And so, you know, every face matters, right? And so you build into somebody, and next thing you know, it's 5 other people that are being built into.
Yep.
And so you have the sacred privilege. You are the Coach Clee. You are the man with the plan. And so just keep getting people moving forward. Like you said something that was really interesting earlier. You said, it's all about how we're going to move the needle forward. And I think people, they like to take that phrase and talk about money, or they talk about prosperity. They talk about the house. I'm going to move the needle forward. I'm getting this new Ferrari, or, you know, I'm going to upgrade my wife, get a new trophy. Like, come on, man. Moving the needle forward to me means, how are we going to use the gifts that God gave us to impact the heart of someone we've never even met? Because, dude, that would be cool
Yeah.
It's going to be cool when someone down the road says, you don't know me, or some comment on Sergeant Be Safe. You don't know me, but it was really cool because my kid who's 7 or whatever, or the guy, because he loves the cartoon, says, you know what? My kid was safe and I just want to say thank you.
Wow.
Can you put a price tag on that?
No, you can't. It's those moments that mean a lot too. The blindsiding moments. I haven't had that with the cartoon as of yet, but in this career, working this in one shape or capacity since 2004 till current, to have someone that was a juvenile or very young, and then you see them again, and you run into them at the strangest places, and I mean strange place, like you're out, you ran out of bread or you ran out of cheese, so you go to the store just to get some more cheese so you can finish your sandwich or something before the game starts or something. It's
Right.
one of those moments, and you want to be in and out, and you're like, "Excuse me, sir. Yeah, what's going on? You don't remember me, but," and I'm like, "Uh-oh,
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
You don't remember me, but you came to my house on this domestic, and you did this, and this, and it was so monumental to me in that moment that since that day I've done this, and this, and it was because I remember the words that you said, and I'm like, wow, I
That's
don't
crazy.
remember that incident at all, or this person, and they're standing in front of me and they're saying that I changed their life because they remembered something I said that was maybe 12 years ago or so. Those are the moments that you're like, man, I'm glad I came to the store to pick up this cheese for this sandwich. Yeah. If not, I wouldn't have had that moment, and that moment is priceless.
It is. And so part of me cleaning out my garage and just, and I recommend everybody, if you have an opportunity to take advantage of doing something like that, if you have stuff in your garage you haven't seen or used in 10 years, it needs to go. So I was doing a purge, and I found a box of old printed emails, and I was, what is this? There's probably about 50 of them.
Wow.
They were all letters of appreciation or emails of appreciation from citizens.
Oh, wow.
Over the past 25 years that I had made a point, because I remember telling her early on that, hey, I need to highlight these good points, because if something bad happens, I want to remember that there were people that actually were affected in the right way.
Yes.
And so I just kept them. And I always thought to myself, this would be cool to show my kids someday if they're like, hey, Dad, you ever, as a grandfather or something, do you ever do anything cool in law enforcement? Yeah. And to show them, hey, here's this book, hint, hint, Real-Time Legacy, my man, Real-Time Legacy. But I mean, that can be, I have a great idea for how to use stuff like that as an inspiration to people, and to show the human side that, hey, you weren't always great, but when you had to be, you were.
Yeah.
And people's lives are changed, man. And I don't know, that's kind of that's my dopamine hit right there. That's the thing that, I mean, I don't drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smoke, maybe I got a Madden problem here once in a while, but but I tell you what, I do get hooked on. I get hooked on seeing people's lives change. And to quote you, I get hooked on moving the needle a little bit in whatever area I can do it. If it's in the podcast, if it's with, my boy David Kennedy, if it's just with this random guy that I meet at QT, that all of a sudden it doesn't matter what we were doing. Like, our jobs don't define us.
Yeah.
The titles in front of our name, I said it last time, titles in front of our name, letters behind our name, they don't define us. The character that's imperishable in the heart that comes out through our mouth usually, and through our wallet, that's what defines us. So my son's with me. We go to a chiropractor every week. Thank God for that, especially after doing 4 ton of rock. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
But so we go in the other day, and he walks in first. He signs us in, and I see a homeless guy. Obviously, homeless guy. He's walking in front of me. Now, I always have my gun and badge on me. Always. It's my choice. And I walk in. I'm just kind of watching. Right away, I'm checking his 90, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't care. You're off duty. I don't care. You walk into a place that that this guy doesn't belong in, and I'm like, something's wrong. He had a backpack. And he didn't look, I mean, he's probably in his late 50s, early 60s, but he could tell he's had a hard life. So he hands this sweet gal at the counter a note. And I'm just back about 5 feet, just ready to deal with whatever comes up, right? My kid's just watching, because he keys in. He's got his spidey sense that keys in.
He got that vibe, yeah.
Yeah, he knows to stay out of my way. And I go, hey, give me that note. And I read it. And the guy says, I'm homeless, I'm deaf, and I'm mute. And I don't have any money for food. Will you please buy me lunch?
Wow.
And I was like, And I just told him, like, come here. And I brought him out. My son walks out. Actually, he stayed inside because he got, again, that looked like just stay inside. I don't know what's going to happen next, but you don't need to see DAD become EOJ. You know,
Yeah.
you know. But I looked at him and I pointed like 3 businesses over to Chick-fil-A. So I reached in my wallet and I was telling my wife I had $24 on me. And I had the same $24 on me for the past month, thinking, you know, I don't carry any money on me. Whoever carries cash anymore.
Yeah.
I just had it. I don't know what I was gonna buy. Probably some high protein things so I can get all big, huge, like Clee Tillman big. You know, I was gonna do my proper eating. Yeah. Hashtag gains, right? So I just reached in and I just give him this money, and he looks at me and he looks at the money, and I pointed Chick-fil-A, and he smiles and walked away. So I walked back in and I had a chance to tell my son. My son's like, "What did you do?" I said, "I gave him my money." And I didn't tell him. I didn't give the guy the money because I felt like I was earning a better position in life or whatever. It was just the right thing to do because you know what? I have a job and I already had lunch. Like we take the basic things for granted all the time. I tell my officers, you need to be spending $20 to $30 on people every month. I'm not going to order you, but if you can't see your way clear, oh, I'm so blessed by you. If you can't see your way clear to go ahead and help people out and spend some money at $20 a month, come on, man.
You know, what I found interesting about the story that you just said as well is one thing that a lot of people haven't. We barely carry cash. You had cash in your pocket and it was just sitting there. You had no intention for it. You had no intent for it until the moment arose. And cash is also called U.S. currency, as in current. So it's supposed to be flowing, cash flow. It's supposed to be moving forward, always moving forward. So therefore, it's not supposed to stay stagnant, like we say on this podcast. Stagnant water attracts mosquitoes, but you kept the currency flowing by passing it on to someone who needed it, used it for something they needed, as opposed to you just having it collecting, staying folded in your pocket and smelling like the inside of a wallet.
Which smells like courageous nobility, baby cakes. There you go. Oh, David.
Yeah. And therefore, I know we normally, I got a couple things going on. I know you. I don't want to monopolize your time so much there, Jeff. We're having a great conversation. I'd love to keep it going, but in the course of conversation, I may have forgot to ask a question, or I may have jogged your memory. Right now, is there anything else that you would like to share with us? The floor is yours. I know I didn't do it as good as you,
dude. You're a little eaglet right now. You're the little eagle. Well, I will tell you that summarizing everything we talk about, you just got to watch the whole podcast again is what you need to do. But I would say that for a guy like you and me to sit down twice now across the country and have real heart discussions about things that matter, it's not a coincidence, and it really is not something abnormal. We should be doing more of these things. So if you're watching, here's some advice for you that the wise eagle is going to give you. This is my EOJ for you. If you're connected on LinkedIn, which is allegedly a professional site, if you're connected with people, just reach out to them and ask if you can have a conversation. Matt Davis, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, can I just call you? I had a question about something you posted." And we had this great conversation, and you had a conversation with them. And that's how things start. We have to be men and women that are willing to have conversations, not always to default or deflect to violence or to seeing our own pride come through. Can't have that. Can't have that. So that's my first big thing, my first takeaway to summarize. The second thing is, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about safety tips. We talked about mental health. We talked about the book, Strands of Eternity, that Dick Odom wrote. Again, reach out to Dick. He's on LinkedIn. You can get his website there. We talked about, thank you. We talked about these different things like how would you use some of the passages? How do you see that work? And I explained that's part of Dick's story in his life, which get into a conversation with the man. It'll make much more sense to you and it'll be more real to you. But all of this stuff is an outpouring of something, be it mental health or be it character-driven courage. like Travis Yates talks about all the time. You want to be a courageous leader?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here are some things you can do, and they're very practical, action-oriented, which is why he and I gel so well, because, man, I want to take a step forward. But here's the basis of this. Travis and I sat in a training last month called Magnus Ovea with National Command Staff College. Dr. Mitch Javidi and his team are incredible. And it was this 2-day class about understanding the neurobiology, understanding your body, but understanding leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And man, leadership is always people. It's just always people. And people are not going to care about what snake oil you're selling them that week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to care about your time you're giving them. They're going to care about things that matter. They're going to care about, like when David's watching, he's heard me go off and just start getting crazy with random people, just loving them, just telling them they're going to care about hope. That's why I'm so jazzed about Mission First Alliance. So check it out, missionfirstalliance.com. Connect with me or Jeremy Wade or any of the reps all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out, because providing hope to people all of a sudden changes. It's reaching in your wallet and giving whatever you got to that guy for food. But if you did that on a daily basis, what could we give people other than money?
Mm-hmm.
You can give them some understanding. You can give them compassion. And if you're me and David, you can give them the gospel of Jesus Christ, man. That's what you can give them, because there's real hope there. My man, Chad Bruckner, Yates are all down with that plan as well. And so I would tell you that if you're thinking about takeaways, think about being real with people, being intentional, and recognizing that physical, emotional, mental, there's also another part, spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
The whole person, dimensions of the whole person require you to be a whole person. We can't turn off our emotions. David's probably weeping in the corner again. He's a crier. I can't do a thing with him. You can't turn off anger. You can't turn off these things. They just kind of come up. And so we know that we're given these feelings and emotions. Let's try to do the best we can as people to just be right with what we do and what we say and how we think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably the best takeaway I can give you is people are people, man. And whether you're a police sergeant or you're the nation's top detective with your own publishing company, or whether you're a deaf, mute, homeless guy,
mm-hmm.
everybody somewhere at some point has a 1-year-old baby picture. Everybody started off somewhere, man, and through circumstances, life choices mostly, or maybe people in their life or people that have been taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
Our lives develop and unfold. But wouldn't it be cool if we got to bump into people every now and then in 168 hours a week? There he is, yeah. If we get to bump into these people and our life story gets to blend with someone else's just for a moment, I wonder how many other people are going to be impacted by that legacy.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about, man. At some point, people are going to stop tuning into the black and blue. People are going to stop knocking on my door. And you're left with yourself and your family and the things that you put in front of you. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure it's real, because I think I told you my dad passed last year, but he always used to say, there's never a U-Haul being towed behind a hearse.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure that we are spending our time on the things that have value.
Mm-hmm.
Character, competency. Those are the building blocks of trust. Authentic leadership, courageous nobility, and then being willing to reach out to the nation's top detective. You should start billing yourself as that, by the way, the nation's top detective. And then all of a sudden, you're going to get me closing by going like this. Kids, remember, if the eagle's on the perch, be ready for this. We out, diggy, diggy, diggy. We out.
I'm not the nation's top detective, but I appreciate that label very much. And that was a great summation and closer as well. And a caveat to that I found funny is, we all, no matter what level we reach in life, we all have that baby picture that's somewhere. A little takeaway, funny story. As a department that I know of that knows me very well responded to a family member of mine's house they got an alarm system that was brand new. So of course, the alarm system wasn't working properly. So they respond out to this family member's house for an alarm. Get there, find out, it's one code. No, you do this wrong. But help them with the alarm system there, so it's not a problem anymore. They come to find out that they're related to me, and then they're like, "Wow!" They start looking around. Is that a baby picture? Yes. So guess what? In the age of cell phones, they were snapping pictures left and right, and I'm getting all these text messages. Like, how did you get that? What is that from? And yes, I became in-house memes and local Christmas cards and things like that. So the little things turn into the big things, and you're like, how did this happen? Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? We got to always remember that little things do turn into big things. And so to the extent that we give attention with a righteous heart to the little things will be the extent that the big things make sense. Does that gel? I mean, you think about Simon Sinek, you think about John Maxwell, you think about these leadership gurus that are talking about it. They're always talking about, that's funny. They're always talking about what are the little things? What are the 10 minutes of time? Where's the kind word? Where's you elevating someone else above you? Lid lifting, Maxwell says. Where are these things in life? So can I give one more plug out here?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have not connected with Chad Bruckner, Bruckner, you need to talk to Chad. He has a podcast. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He's in law enforcement. The guy is military, law enforcement. He was undercover. His story is a lot like your story, and he started looking at what this man is doing. He is helping join this courageous tribe that we got going of people moving the needle. But Chad Bruckner, Motivate Change on his deal too. Reach out to that guy. He's a cool dude, but make sure that if you're going to trampoline into all these people I'm talking about, you start with the big dog. You start with Clee Tillman. All right. And if you don't, he'll beat you up. He'll make you ready. Black and blue, baby.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love how you go one way to another. We gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Jeff, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. It's a pleasure to have this connection. It's a pleasure to have your acquaintance, to be a fellow. Not even a book member, I guess we can say. That people are associated there. Pleasure to have you as a voiceover. So many wonderful things. This will not be the last time you won't be on the show at this capacity. Definitely not in Sergeant Be Safe form. But I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate our friendship, and thank you for always saying yes for any question that I come to you with.
Dude, my man, there's nothing off the table, man, because I know that you're going to try to move the needle. And I'm going to try to remember that this week. So, David, we love you both. David loves us. We love each other.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap, man.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Black and Blue. The podcast is just for you. We go live weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when we go live with the first responder or law enforcement officer, whether they're rookie season or retiree. And we talk about their trainings, experiences, and publications. And we didn't fall short today. And we're going to go live next week. I got a special guest coming on the show. I would love to tell you guys who they are, but I'm not going to, because I like to leave you guys with the cliffhanger. So therefore, you guys got to tune in next week, and we're going to have another dynamic show. Make sure you guys take care of each other and take care of yourselves and each other. We all love you. 10-4, over and out. And here's another Eagle of Justice cartoon for you guys to say goodbye on. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Be Safe here. We're going to do a roll call. Let me introduce you to the rest of the lineup. And here we go.
Hey, crew, Captain Chaos here. I'm also a canine handler. Here's my dog, Kraken.
Hello, everyone. I'm Major Payne, in charge of this crazy crew. Nothing gets by me.
Good day, all. I'm SWAT Specialist Clay Moore, always ready to swoop in and save the day.
Hello, folks. It's the Eagle of Justice swooping in, providing advice to set things right.
Hello, Sergeant Be Safe, Captain Chaos. I'm your new district attorney, just in case.
He is our district attorney trying to clean up the streets.
Yes, locking up bad guys.
All rise. I am the Honorable Judge Mint.
I'm a division attorney scot-free, and my guys didn't do it.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna like this city. Rob you blind here, and I'm here to cause total chaos.
Yeah, I'm Treacherous Tony. I deal illegal drugs and pills. My new friends Robbie Blind and Chance Wilder brought me into their crew.
Chance Wilder at your service.
I guess I'll just cross the street here.
You guys remember what almost happened to Megan. She doesn't always pay attention.
Oh, geez. I didn't even see that car coming.
Hello. Welcome back to my classroom. In case you forgot, I am Mrs. Gainer.
Hello, my name is Maya. I can tell this is going to be my new favorite class.
Hello, I'm Nasty Nina, and I'm gonna divorce this guy and take him for everything he's got.
And I am her attorney, Wacky Techie, and I have nothing else better to do.
I'm Hal Monitor, the neighborhood watchman. I'll tell Sergeant Be Safe about any suspicious activity.
Oh my goodness, Triclam saved me. Donde está? Tengo hace frío. That's why I'm a sergeant and you're not. I'm afraid. I'm worried. I'm trying to wait on these customers. I'm over here at Mario's bar. I'm afraid that something's gonna happen. You said you were gonna be here. You're not here, and I need to hear it now.
I am the esteemed and pristine Reverend Wade Waters. You make sure you make it here on the right day at the right time, because I got the right seat for you, all right? And that wraps up Roll Call for you. See more educational skits on the podcast Black and Blue. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
I'm not a bad cop.
I never once said you were. It would be real simple if the problem was bad cops. It ain't.